Happy Friday! Welcome to the Patriot Son Podcast. Live right here. Good laugh. Welcome everybody. Please share the show.
You are ready for the number?
Yes.
At one point, I projected under 400 million.
What?
500 million. Under 500 million.
Under 500 million.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that they have a very similar population to the United States and China?
Yes. Wow. There's 1 billion people missing.
And this goes back to what we were saying in the beginning or earlier in the podcast with all of the fake IDs and all of this stuff being found out.
Yeah, there's possibly 1 billion people missing. It's not a demographic question, Danny. It's a mathematical question. Let me ask you. It takes a couple to have 2 children to replace themselves, right? Think about it. If every couple produces 2 children,
the population is level.
Right. So, do you know how many children does every woman needs to have in her lifetime in order to triple its population in 50 years?
To triple its population in 50 years, you need to have what? Let me guess. I'm terrible at math.
I'll give you the answer because I asked AI. It's a crazy mathematical. If a country needs to triple or grow its population by 2.5 times, let's just say 2.5 times.
Okay.
Over a span of 50 years.
5 kids.
Each woman, you're right. Each woman needs to give birth on average between 4.5 to 5.5 children.
Wow.
Okay. Now, China grew its population officially from 1950. That's when the CCP took over to control. Okay. China's population in 1950 was about 500 million. In the year 2000, 50 years later, China's population was about 1.27 billion. Okay, so it grew 2.5 times, right? From 500 million to 1.27 billion. That's 2.5 times over 50 years. Chinese women did not have, on average, have 5 children. Because of the one-child policy.
Yes.
Because of the Great Famine. Because of the Great Famine, tens of millions of people died. Because of Cultural Revolution. So China, from one political movement to another, and then to almost 4 decades of single-child policy, there's no way Chinese women had 5 kids.
So this chick is a Chinese defector on the Danny Jones podcast, and she's kind of laying out like, well, I'm from China. I somehow, and I'm not sure if she tells the story of her escape because nobody escapes from China. You have to be very good to escape from China. And she's explaining that China's population, they claim right now they're saying they got like 1.5 billion people and that nobody can stop China's progress. And she's going, no, they're about the size and population of America. And they don't have the people they claim to have. And the only dominance that they have is by stealing. Because that's what the Chinese do. Or that's what the communists do, is they lie, they cheat, and they steal. So let's look at the globe.
You tell the Indians that, they'll declare manifest destiny and march to the Pacific.
All right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because the people who produce a lot of children are the Indians, right?
Oh yeah, we sure have enough of them here. I can tell you that. I mean, they're arriving daily, and I hear we can't get talent, but I don't know. As soon as someone gives you that H-1B quota, a bunch of Indians show up. I mean, almost every time, and then you hit your DEI goals, and it's easy, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't want to go too far afield, but you talk about the scam of the century. It's right there.
Going on everywhere. Every country going through it. All from India. Nowhere else. India.
Well, let's talk about power structure, right? So the fear of China, the fear of Russia. You've got what 30 total NATO troops in Greenland right now performing an exercise.
Sean, do you mean Russia? I don't know of a Russia. I just know of Russia.
I'm trying to dog walk you guys into seeing the reason that all of these actors are acting out is because Donald Trump has reset the one world or new world order, and it's Trump's world. You're going to play by it. You're going to deal with it. And so as we walk through that, yes, I don't have that clip, but Mark Carney, he's out there fighting for the new world order. He's out there fighting it. He is going to China. He's going to make friends with China. He has no idea that China will just exploit all the natural resources of Canada and give them nothing in return because
he doesn't care.
They don't have the financial power. They don't have the military power. They have no way to come help you, Mark Carney.
And they don't pay us money anyway to these trades that we get into with China. No one gives us fair trade except for maybe England for the little bit of stuff we ever traded with them. But really, America is the one that trades us what's even Steven for cash. I don't want, some stupid trade deal where you give us this much, we'll give you this much back in bananas or rubbers. Please, you give us the cash, and never mind this bond buying thing to escape, the deficits of the dollars and the lack of parity between them. I mean, it's just absolutely bonkers. This guy thinks he's going to make us a fortune from China.
Wait, is China the prophylactic capital of the world?
Pretty much.
Those rubbers, yeah.
I had no idea. I want to present to you guys also. Now that we'll get back to China, but losing 1 billion people, they didn't lose 1 billion people. They never had.
They didn't lose 1 billion people. They didn't produce 1 billion people.
They never had.
It's 500 million in 1950, and now they're at 350, 400 million.
Yeah,
they've been stagnant. Their growth is stagnant because of the one-child policy for 40 years, and everything else is just bullshit.
So now I want to point out also, because we're going to bring as many things into this as possible. I have a globe up. A globe is different than a two-dimensional paper map. And most people think of Greenland being over here, right, to the east of Canada. Well, it's north. And what is
the Arctic Circle almost?
What does it look down on?
Yeah.
What it looks down on this empire we've been talking about.
Yeah, the UK.
Island we call UK. In other words.
All right. So.
Well, I actually have seen.
Here's Venezuela, right?
Yeah.
Here's Cuba. Now we've surrounded
everybody.
South America.
Right. They look Greenland and Venezuela look like bookends.
Yes. All right.
Very good.
So if you guys can follow me at all, where I'm going is Donald Trump is literally taking away. So the Monroe Doctrine, and a lot of people argue, well, it's not the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine was to keep Europe out of American affairs in our hemisphere. And I'll say, that's exactly what he's doing. And he's just saying China and Russia because you guys don't understand the way Donald Trump works. You guys on the left especially don't take Donald Trump directly for what he says, but understand that he means what he says is going to happen.
Sure.
He's just misdirecting you because he knows you'll take it. And he knows a lot of you are watching CNN or M Snow or reading these posts on Facebook or TikTok, and you're getting outraged. This is the Monroe Doctrine. He just didn't tell you it was because we are going to block the kingdom of England once and for all. And all I got to do is tell you, I need Greenland because of China and Russia. You don't want China and Russia there, right? I mean, you guys all hate Russia, all you Ukraine lovers. You hate Russia, right? So I need Greenland.
They hate Russia. That's
that one, yeah. That Russia, yeah. You know what? I gotta say, I don't know where this whole thing's ending up, but Venezuela, right off the coast of Venezuela, we all know the dirty money ring is right there. All the Cayman, the whole Caribbean is right there. And that was never a very nice place to go. I don't know much about the whole thing.
Who runs the dirty money accounts?
Well, that'd be
who is England. What country bank are those banks attached to?
Well, a lot more than just the UK, but yeah, the UK is at the center of it all, and
not a whole lot more.
What's that?
Not a whole lot more. City of London is the center of world finance, along with New York City.
Yeah. And if you guys been paying attention to the gold and silver markets and the suppression of that, just the dirtiness of these banks, about time someone took them down. So if that's Trump's action by getting into Venezuela, which affects of course, the Caribbean and the laundered money from oil, child, and not just child, but just trafficking of
human trafficking.
Yeah,
basically, they've never gotten out of the business of slavery.
Right. Yeah. So, and this is the UK. I guess somehow they've been punting themselves off to be, this holier than thou empire, and they've been anything but. And we know that from going back to China and the tea for opium, that whole mess, and we can go further than that. And the 100-year lease on Hong Kong.
Well, there's another thing I want to bring up. When I pointed out to the globe, and I can bring it back up if anybody wants to comment and see it again or ask us questions.
Not the globe.
And it looks, I'd say Greenland looks down on Europe, on Western Europe specifically, over the horizon. The jokes about can Sarah Palin see Russia from her house. It's that type of joke, but also remember, Europe is going through a fundamental transformation and becoming Muslims who will be armed with nukes. Why would we not want to have over the horizon capabilities with Greenland?
It's imperative that we have that control.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're exactly right. That they've, except for Eastern Europe, Western Europe is just screwed to pooch by letting all those people in and not preventing them from voting like they do in Abu Dhabi and in the UAE. If you weren't born and raised here, you can't vote.
Yeah,
I love that.
Or run for office.
I love that too. Yeah.
Well, and hopefully our Supreme Court will say that the 14th Amendment means the same thing here, Paul. That you can't just move here and vote. You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even think dual citizens should be allowed to vote, but that's a whole nother issue. If you show the picture of the Greenland one more time at the top of the world, because it is.
Yeah,
closest thing to the North Pole. I would point out one thing.
So the Arctic Circle runs. So from Alaska here, the Arctic Circle runs right through it. It is the closest thing to the North Pole you can possibly get.
True confession, I've laid eyes on Greenland in the past. When I was 12, my family went to Europe for a vacation. My mom got 6 weeks off, and we took a commuter flight to Chicago. Then we took Icelandic Airlines. So you know where we were headed, Sean. Use your pointer. You see Iceland sitting there?
Yep. Right
Yeah,
here.
you try to get from Chicago to Iceland without going over that white
So
thing.
you're talking right here.
Yeah,
Pew,
right.
right here.
And someone said that's Greenland, and I looked down and I said it's frozen. 12-year-old smart ass. Some things don't change much. But the point is what I see is up in northern Greenland, you're a 2 or 3 hour plane ride commercially from anywhere.
Well, if you fly to
Alright.
Frankfurt from Chicago or Washington or New York, you go across the southern tip of Greenland and above Iceland.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the flight path because that's a shorter distance between 2 points.
Right. It's like an arc like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have battle stations in Greenland, you can reach out and touch anybody you want really fast.
Okay, so yeah, and then let's just do northern hemisphere, the northern half of the globe.
Before you go on, I gotta say,
everybody says, I see a lot of comments. Well, you guys are only 50 miles away from Russia. Yeah, but let's look at what part of Russia this is. There's nothing important here. There's nothing
here. I gotta say one thing. You see that map they got drawn there of Greenland? How come they got so much white around the North Pole when that's all red? That's Canada. That's Canadian. That's not Greenland. It doesn't belong to them. Who drew that stupid map globe with the white on all those islands? That's all Canadian.
I sense some Canuck patriotism bleeding through here.
Okay.
Not just
that. So hold on.
Trade routes.
Edward, the Arctic Circle, let me use my pointer, goes like this. That's why it's white, because it's fucking frozen.
Well, how come the other stuff in the corner is still red? No, that's not, well.
I don't even
tell it poorly then if that's the case, because
I don't see any red on my screen. What red are you looking at?
How about pink then? How about rose? Whatever
you may have a touch of color blindness. Are you talking about gray?
What sort of video feed are you getting?
Like lavender. I see green.
What sort of video feed are you getting up there north of the Iron Curtain?
I'm just saying the whole map does not look like it should on a normal globe when they got that all shaded white, like it's all Greenland up there. It's not. But go ahead, doesn't matter. But I got to say one more thing. Canada and USA always had air bases on Greenland from the Second World War because we went from Maine to Newfoundland to Greenland, then to Iceland, then to England. So we've always had airline strips up there and bases all the time, and we still do. That's just part of our agreements.
I want to ask you a direct question, Edward, and no bullshit this time.
What?
After watching Canada's behavior vis-a-vis the U.S. for the last 10 years, would you value any joint Canadian-American anything for the security of the United States?
Well, once we get rid of this libtard stuff going on,
current government,
absolutely not. No, we got a retard at the helm.
That's what he's talking about. He says for our defense, we look. He didn't even tell the Congress about the Venezuela thing because he knew they'd leak it and warn the son of a bitch. He's got the same problem in Canada. If you start disclosing what you're doing, the enemy will know.
Also,
that's the nature of things.
One thing I've been trying to point out about this is, Canada's the northernmost. Well, here's the Northern Territories.
That's right.
Canada. They don't have a direct eyeball on this. Europe. Greenland does.
No, they don't.
Greenland also looks down on parts of Russia, but it really looks down on territories that are currently being conquered by Muslims in Europe.
Yes, they do.
Correct. I agree. Yeah.
So the military value for us to be here as opposed to here are like, why wouldn't you want to be here? There's nothing for us
Sean,
here.
Sean, I think the appropriate term is exponentially higher value. Because time is money and time is lives.
So the Air Force has, like you said, the Air Force has had Thule Air Force Base in Greenland since the Cold War days. It was an ICBM monitoring and prevention ahead. I don't even think it's called Thule anymore. It's called Puff and Stuff, or
I think PFFET, PFET or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah. But now it's also become a Space Force base.
Okay.
And it's expanded to some satellite FOBs around it. So,
yes.
But it was originally a Cold War, for the ICBMs and stuff.
Well, how about a branch office of NORAD? That's what it needs.
Well, hey, would that make the Canadians happy? Even though NORAD technically doesn't exist anymore, it's something else. But they still track Santa every Christmas.
I know, that's important.
I just know they were always in Colorado, and the view's a lot better from that white thing than it is from Colorado.
Can we verify with Edward that the color of that is white and that it's mostly in the Arctic Circle?
Yeah, the white is snow and frozen tundra, and then the gray, pink, mauve desert stuff is uninhabitable tundra.
Yes.
It's okay to be white. I promise. It really is.
Well, and the 5 people that live here, they can power their entire neighborhood of 5 houses with 1 whale kill a year.
Now, are you talking the northern Canadian part of it or Greenland? Because they're both the same.
No, we're looking at this. I don't know what color you think this area is. We're looking
put an arrow there so I can tell what you're talking about. Where are you?
Right here.
There's no pointer.
Do you guys see? All right, let's see here.
Right here. That's good.
Yeah, that's pink. That's not white. That's pink.
It looks gray to me.
Okay, gray. If you want to say gray, gray.
It's I see gray. It's just what is this? What color is this?
Blue.
Light blue.
Okay, what color is this?
Where are you? Where's your arrow?
Aquamarine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Pacific turquoise. That's the color.
That was fun. Humans are awesome. They're so awesome.
Now that we got that settled, I still got to say, though, I don't know how everybody's getting so upset about, this Greenland and America having a base there. America and Canada have had bases there forever. So I don't know why everybody's still about it now.
No, it's controlled by a European nation. Even though they have independence and their own written government, just like Canada, who is out of control and won't be stopped and wants to partner with China. Now can we look at why America's going to go, no, screw that. It's not going to be a European territory anymore. It's going to be American.
Today, gentlemen,
you see the setup that I laid out for you for the last 22 minutes?
Yep.
It is currently considered European. It won't be anymore.
It can't be.
Well, this is...
it's not acceptable for it to be European going forward. It's not acceptable.
No, that's definitely not. And even though Denmark kind of owns it still, the fact is, in part of NATO, because Denmark's part of NATO, they're thinking that, no, we got to set up bases here now so that Trump, can't rule over us. So I see where NATO's coming here in this power struggle, but nonetheless,
that power struggle's over.
It has nothing to do with NATO. It has everything to do with the European Union trying to make one more flex when they don't have any flexes left.
That's right.
None.
Yeah, they got nothing.
Why is Canada's prime minister right now beaking off about, we're part of NATO and we have to follow the NATO rule, which means we're going to have to defend Greenland from,
Mark Carney is just running a disinformation operation.
Macron's doing the same thing.
Of course he is.
Hold on to feed to the American television watchers. Look at all these people who are fighting Trump. Why is Trump not focusing on Canada? Because they can't do anything to America. Literally, they can't. Could they maybe cut off a few imports, things like that? But in the total, they really can't do anything.
Well, of course not. There's only 36 million here.
We'll just skip you guys. We're just gonna. We gave you a chance. Here's the Don Rowe theory. We'll just skip you guys. Screw you. We'll take Greenland, and then watch the European unions fall into crumbles, and then all of a sudden Canada goes, well, shit, we're fucked. We need to make a deal with America.
Right.
We're not breaking away from America yet, though.
Yes, you are.
Yes,
you are.
Carney
you're snuggling up to Xi.
Carney is, but the rest of us are not. And I was going to say before I got interrupted.
Minister.
I was going to say before I got interrupted a while ago. Today, we finally won our court case again about the illegal use of the War Measures Act that was put onto the truck drivers back years ago. You remember that when we had the Freedom Convoy? You guys remember that?
Timely decision.
I know, because we won the first time, and then Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland, we don't agree with that opinion. We're going to have to go through the higher courts now and challenge that decision. Well, it's been 2 years, and finally they come back saying, nope, you guys, same decision. You guys are wrong in enacting that. You've done a huge amount of damage to people and the country. So today we're wondering, okay, now that we won this and we already know what we've already known that you acted illegally, how come Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland are in jail right now because of what they created and did to our country? So tomorrow's going to be a brand new day, which is Saturday, of course, because you can't do anything on Saturday, Sunday. So, of course, all these important decisions always come down on a Friday afternoon. We talked about this, so we're going to have to wait and see how this pans out throughout next week. Okay, now you can continue on with your slam of the Canadian people of being idiots. Go ahead and continue with that, because I'm waiting to hear how this is going to turn out next week. We're the only country in the world that stood up against the COVID. America didn't. We were waiting for their help. Never came, waiting, never came. Us against the entire world. Now, go ahead and continue on about us being idiots.
I know.
Not much to say there. We're the only country in the entire world to stand up against this stuff.
I've always got plenty to say. What I want to say is I love this fired up Canuck, and I want to see him in a hockey uniform, fucking body checking his own government.
I said the same thing during the
He's more likely to body check us. That's
why are we in hockey gear against the police then? They wouldn't have stood a chance. We had the old hockey sticks, it would have been great. We don't need guns. We would have chopped them down. But yeah, that's all
right. So when we talk about countries, we're never picking on the people. I never pick on the people of Iran. And I make fun of Iran incessantly. I always have. Yeah. I'm not trying to offend the Canucks, the people of Canada.
Okay, good. I'm good with that.
What I'm talking about is
I'm just saying before
a 90,000 foot view from the edge of space and where there's actually a little bit of oxygen left. Looking down at all of this is what I've been explaining for the last 30 minutes.
Let me clarify, and Edward, I think Sean would agree. The only Canadians we have a problem with were the decision makers in 1812 that decided to throw in with England again.
I know.
I'm not joking.
I know.
Citizens only have so much autonomy, but the United States was already fully independent. And the Canadians had 40 years to look at it, okay? Or the Canadian leaders had 40 years to look at it. And here the Brits come back for another round in 1812, unprovoked. And the Canadians again throw in with the Crown.
Yeah.
We got no help. We got no help.
That's so true. And I have to
Fucking
say,
lost the White House. They burned it down, the sons of bitches.
well, look what you guys did to Toronto. The North End, you burnt us down after that, though. So it's a tit for
Well,
tat.
of course we did, because we were on the other team.
Well,
I wish I could rename this to Friday Night SmackDown. Does anyone know how to rename a Rumble Live? Drop it in the comments.
So, and you know what? You got to go back to look at the Second World War when we stood up against Great Britain or England at that time. Still, you know, and you know they took all
against Britain. We stood with Britain, right?
Well, we all did, except all our victories. What's that guy? General Patton's enemy there. What's his name? I can't remember. Of Great Britain, I can't remember his name. No, Monty. Montgomery. That's right.
Montgomery. Right.
Everybody hated that guy because he kept stealing all our Canadian victories. He said, "Oh, the British forces." No, it was Canada that did all that. What are you talking about? So, and Patton, of course, couldn't stand the guy, and I can see why. So we kind of broke away way before even that happened, and that just kind of sealed the fate of Great Britain there. But anyways, go ahead, Sean.
Time out. Have you guys seen, because the internet is a fascinating tell on just what's going on. And most of it's bots. Just be aware, 60% of the shit you see at least is bots.
Even the girls in the group chats are bots, I hear.
Yes, that's absolutely true. We need to do a whole space on that just to educate people. But have you seen this whole European Union campaign online? They're waking up the sleeping giant of 500 million people. Now, remember, I already told you China likely has less than 500 million people, and they're poking at the bear of 350 million people, the sleeping giant from World War II. And they're trying to provoke a reaction from Donald Trump, of course, and from the American people. And you look at it, you go, I'll sometimes respond to it, even though I know it's a bot, but it's got a lot of activity. And I'd be like
180,000 followers. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be. Do you really think all of the European states are going to follow you into a war against Donald Trump?
United States.
No,
in Greenland?
They're not doing it.
After watching what
with
happened
dog
to Maduro.
sleds? Do you guys even own snowmobiles?
After watching what happened to Maduro? After watching what happened to Maduro, you think they want to mix it up with Trump?
They never will. I mean, like we keep saying, remember, Sean, we said one aircraft carrier that the U.S. has can wipe out just about any country on Earth, because it doesn't just have that one aircraft carrier. It has a couple of battleships with it, a submarine. So you know what? Just that alone, what country is going to be brave enough to stick their neck out, and say, "Wow, we're going to be able to take on America"? No one, nobody, not one. So, and that's like that comedian said, well, the United Nations just sanctioned America then. Go ahead, put sanctions on them and back it up with your army. Oh, well, you don't have an army? No, you don't. So, I think you could just take a back seat there and stay shut up. Is what
I wish I still had that clip. You know what? We've been.
It's funny, though.
We always overtalk each other. I want to get Paul. You've heard all the arguments. You've heard what's going on. What are your thoughts? Let's give you some time to lay down what you're thinking now that we presented all this information.
So I'd like to start with Canada. And I know what the media says, and I know what the leadership says with the saber rattling and, we're in bed with China and they're doing this and doing that. But let me tell you something that's reality on the ground. As a defense contractor, we enjoy excellent trade and ideas and work share with the Canadian military and the Canadian Department of Defense or Ministry of Defense. We've got good contracts with them. They've got good contracts with us. There's not any heartburn. There's not any agita or anything like that. It's been that way for 40 years. And I don't see it changing anytime in the future. The commerce that we have with Canada is 4-star, at least in the government realm. As far as military and that, we do maintenance on the Canadian fighter jets, and the Canadians come down to Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas, and we train their fighter pilots with our T6 Texan 2s.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So yeah, we do training with those guys, and we do train the trainer. Our 10th Mountain trains with the Canadian Special Forces that are the cold weather unit. They have a designator. I don't remember what it is, but they train together quite frequently. And there's just not, I mean, they're Canada's well respected in the DOD space. And our DOD, our military is well respected in the Canadian space. So I just want to put all that bullshit to bed that you see on the media. It's absolute top level bullshit. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
So I said NORAD. What is the modern North American defense called? That includes Canada. Do you
Northcom?
Northcom. Okay. Yeah, it's a partnership. And if you guys remember when China flew balloons over us.
Oh yeah.
It was very good communication between bases in Alaska and British Columbia about what are we going to do about this. And we chose to send planes out of Alaska only because the planes you guys had in British Columbia didn't have the altitude capability. It's not that you weren't capable of defending North America. We just had the better shit in that specific area of the globe. So we sent up the 22s.
Oh, just shut it down. Like, why just shoot it down? Like, why allow it to
in
go
light
on?
of, well, you have to have the order from the commander-in-chief to do that. Look, with respect to Paul's comments, I'm glad we didn't lose American DOD. All right. I mean, I think Secretary Hegseth has made a big difference in the military over. Okay.
Absolutely.
And the fact is, I feel increasingly better hearing his testimony that the Canadian DOD is kind of in the same spot with respect to where their hearts are. That's good. I will revise and extend my comments to limit my despising of my political types in Canada who would be happy to get a nugget of intel on what's going to go down in Venezuela and then warn Maduro, just like they would have warned the Ortegas down in Nicaragua and all the rest of that stuff. Anything to make the U.S. look stupid is what political leftists want to do, north or south of the border.
Correct.
Is that not the Tories that we all want to fight?
Well, I don't want them at all because the political landscape's changed so much with the MAGA movement. And yeah, they call us Maple Megas up here, which is a stupid parliamentary term those idiots in Parliament call us. But nonetheless, yeah, we got to get rid of the king, United Kingdom, which is also United Nations, out of the country. Period.
Hey, Edward, can you ask the Antifa types all around the globe why they're in support of Denmark, who has a king?
Yeah, I thought there was no King's Day. What happened to that? What happened to no King's Day?
I've heard it really got a big reception in Canada, but nobody told them they still had a king too.
I know. That's another thing. They had no King's Day in Toronto. I couldn't believe it.
Edward, I got a question for you. Is the popular consensus among citizens in Canada is to get rid of the crown and that, or are they loyal to the crown?
Nope. Alberta's on their way out now, breaking apart this confederation. The Confederate is now, I think, finished because once Alberta gets out, and they're taking Saskatchewan with them, then Quebec says, well, we want to leave now. But remember back in '95 when Quebec wanted to leave, and everybody all over Canada went there, no, leave. Now no one cares.
They're French.
Well, whatever it was that was invoked, I know it was found illegal, but lawfare people are lawfare people. That's very similar to just putting down a rebellion or our insurrection act.
It was called the Emergencies Act, right?
The Emergencies Act. So won't they just use that to hold the Confederacy together?
No, because it's just been ruled down again that you have to only use it if the country is in dire danger from another outside force.
Wouldn't they be in dire danger if they were becoming an American state?
Yeah, they're going to say the dire danger is Donald Trump. You don't see that?
No.
Okay.
They'll use it again.
Anything, though. It's not Trump doing it. It's the people of Alberta saying, nope, you've been unfair. We want out.
Edward, it doesn't matter if he's doing it or not. They're going to say he's doing it, and all they need is some clown in a robe to drop a gavel and say, yeah, the Emergencies Act.
But isn't that what they did during the whole, and can I use that bad flu thing without getting dropped here?
Yes, you can.
But they did the same thing back then, though, and used it, and the court upheld this. No, you used it incorrectly, wrongly against the people. So do you think they're going to have the nerve to do it again? The whole country.
Edward, so what happens? They got there 4 years.
I know. That's what I said.
They got there 4 years. Those people are still all bankrupt. I mean, Lish is still going to jail.
I hear you, and I said that online. The damage is done. They didn't care if they got caught because
the court says it was wrong. They don't give a shit. They won.
But the second time it won't happen because the whole country will. It'd be a huge backlash. That I already know because it's already. And like I said, I don't know how this is going to play out next week. Now, if they're going to call back Chrystia Freeland from Ukraine now that she's one of the ministers there and say, "Hey, you're going to jail," and then Justin Trudeau.
I bet the mortgage they don't. They're just going to be silent.
Probably right. But I'm going to have to wait to see how the rest of Canada reacts to this whole thing. And I don't know because it just got done today on a Friday, of course. So they're going to have the whole weekend to cool down. So I'm going to wait for Monday, Tuesday and see what everybody else.
I'm fascinated to see how it goes. I absolutely am skeptical, but I'm also skeptical of my own government.
Well, we're all supposed to be skeptical. No, all of us are supposed to be skeptical.
How could you not be?
True.
I mean, here's the biggest problem we have, Edward, is that we around the globe have funded fraud, waste, and abuse.
I know.
To turn around and have that fraud, waste, and abuse from charities inside of the United States that in turn imported massive amounts of illegals, and that in turn got them onto government services. That in turn told them if you vote, I skipped that part. If you get a driver's license, you can vote. Now, if you vote, you can vote to get more massive amounts of government services, and you will be way richer than the average American. And I also need to point out the American citizens have been bitching about this since the 1990s. We all knew about it. Screw you, Congress.
So has Canada gone to the same thing.
Single resolution.
And we said the same thing. All 338 of our members of parliament should be fired, ousted, get out. And we're the same way because it's turned into basically a uniparty. Remember the conversation?
Basically, the worst part about it all, to me, is this is where when you look at Act Blue, and Win Red, sorry, it's both parties. But the whole money laundering that's coming into campaigns is from these same sources, this NGO funding, and then they say someone who's Paul's age or my age is making 300 contributions a month of $25 to the Democrats or to the Republicans or something like that. And then James O'Keefe knocks on the door of that person. I go, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
But basically, when the money finds a home, and black dark money that is created by this sort of nebulous funding gets put to use in all sorts of nefarious purposes, and if you're reading X closely, you'll see that Peter Berniger is now exposing Republicans that are smurfing campaign donations, like Mike Johnson and and John Thune and all the rest of these guys that you say won't stand up. And he's teaching you, if you're looking, why they won't, because they know they'll go to jail if someone points this out.
That brings up an interesting point. Did you guys see this thing going down with James O'Keefe is being sued by the United States federal government in a case that it looks like, at least at a high level, they're saying that journalists cannot be anonymous, that they can't have a different identity. They can't be Deep Throat. And going back to the biggest Anon story that ousted a president, they can't be Anons. I mean, what kind of fascist bullshit is this lawsuit?
Was this initiated under the Trump Justice Department?
Sorry, I gotta drop.
Okay,
I gotta go.
All right,
great talk, guys. Good going. See ya.
Hopefully it's Sunday.
Yeah.
I'll catch up with you, Paul.
Yep. Huh. So what kind of fascist nonsense is this shit?
Isn't this the Trump Justice Department initiating this? It's a serious question.
I can't see it, and you know,
this can't be held over for Biden, can it? I mean, it's been a while.
It can absolutely be held over by Biden and continued. Yeah, absolutely.
Can we find
it? Is that where it started? I mean, it should be stopped immediately, but that, like so many things, it's not being stopped. Clearly.
I got it. Oh my gosh. You know, you guys gotta get rid of that. You gotta get rid of that.
Like some of the biggest, most influential Anons ever were the founding fathers. There's a reason to be an Anon or anonymous for those of you in Rio Linda. An Anon, Thomas Jefferson, of course, he wrote from two different points of view. He wrote as a female, and he wrote as a male, and they had arguments against each other so that he could explain an argument.
I didn't know he did that.
Absolutely, he did. And he wrote them as Anons, two different characters as Anon.
These guys were so smart. Those guys were so fucking brilliant. I mean,
no one else knows that story. I didn't know that. I don't think we were ever taught that.
Okay, now I want to go back to something. Knowing that, and that was well known following the ratification of the Constitution, that word all got out on
that's
who wrote
when
what.
He was found guilty of treason by the king.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And who was who and all the rest of that.
How they find out shooting them?
Listen, all that shit was fresh. It was within the last 25 years. Plenty of time for the Pony Express to get up north and tell everybody everything that happened if they were the slightest bit interested. And the sons of bitches came and burned the White House, and you guys sat there and
hold on. Edward and I have actually talked about this. They were British provinces. They were British. They were not Canadian. Stop blaming the Canadians for burning the White House down, because there was no Canadians at the time. Okay. There wasn't.
Actually, that British North American Act, we're still under that. So
yeah, you should have told them. Stop
no, but in 1812, you were still all of the land that was occupied by what is now the eastern side of Canada was just British colonies, and you guys also had a chance to join us.
Yeah,
like, fuck you. We're Tory. We're burning your shit down.
Wait a minute. A lot did. A lot of Americans came to Canada, and a lot of Canadians went to America. It was the most
absolutely. I've got Canadian family.
And I don't even know why mine came up here. Huh?
You imagine how nuts that was?
Well, you know what? It was such a different world back then. There was hardly anybody here. It was a vast country. Nobody paid attention to us. Nobody cared. We were all on our own.
No, it's still the same.
Yeah.
It's still the
I mean,
same.
you guys have a population the size of Tokyo.
Dude, even if you look at America, to
Not even that.
JC's point, if you look at America,
Yeah.
you said 350 million. We're guessing the last census.
All right.
Well, I mean,
get it
another
fairly
10 million illegals, more or less. Yeah.
and then we could add 40 million illegals. Maybe we're guessing, kind of, because it's a self-reporting system. The census is. That being said, if you ever, if you're in America and you get in a plane and you fly from a city, say Charlotte, to Phoenix, or you fly from Portland to Miami, or you fly from New York to Los Angeles, and 20 minutes after takeoff, you're at 20,000, approaching 30,000, approaching 40,000 feet, and you look down out the window, what do you see? No people. No people. There's no people down there. So to everybody who claims that there's overpopulation, you will see, yeah, absolutely. You'll see agriculture. You won't see people. You won't see a guy on a tractor. And it's not because you can't see it with your physical eye. It's because the guy's not out there on his tractor. You won't see people if you look down at America.
Not over that area.
It's not populated. Well, yeah, you could look down from the space station and look at New York and go, all right, there's a lot of people there. Look at the whole country as a whole, and you're going to go, wow.
A lot of people.
That's why they call
crap. This place is basically unpopulated.
Correct. Yeah.
And even today, every single family group in the United States, including illegals, could fit on a 1/3 sized acreage with a house in the state of Texas. Everyone.
I believe that.
And for the other left-wing psyop that everybody finds so fascinating about environmentalism, all the trash we've ever generated since the Revolutionary War could fit in the state of Rhode Island.
No, that wouldn't surprise me.
Every bit of Christmas wrapping paper, every junk car, everything could all fit in a landfill the size of Rhode Island. And if you check out Rhode Island's 2 senators, you'll think that maybe it's happened.
JC, does anyone do you think anybody in America, or if you're listening globally, do they know that you can actually burn methane to heat your home?
Yeah, I know.
You can burn methane to have torches as your lanterns at your front door. You can burn methane for all kinds of reasons, and it doesn't smell like a fart because you burned it.
Well, that's why they flare off on the
we used to strike matches and try to light our farts, but that was kind of a boy thing to do.
Well, some people were
do that in Canada ever?
Some people were successful.
We didn't, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen, but could have.
Dude,
it's a little dangerous if your hair's as long as Sean's. It's a little dangerous.
You're totally old enough to be part of the MTV generation, which they absolutely MTV. Everybody was lighting their farts on fire.
Well,
it was kind of the precursor to Beavis and Butthead. Yeah,
yeah. I was probably too old when that first came out to be watching that at the time, so I don't know. MTV, that's like the 80s at some point in time. I don't know when, 84, 85. I can't remember. But yeah, I was already working and not even paying attention to that stuff, so wouldn't know that.
You were old before your time.
I'm still old. I'm really old. Every day I wake up. But I got to get back to the conversation that we were talking about. Yeah, could you imagine having a bigger country like Canada and having 35 million people spread out all over the place? Well, actually, all over the borders. Every border town. It's a long line.
You guys are clustered around the oceans, right?
Yeah.
The Great Lakes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, the Great Lakes and the ocean. That's exactly right. And who doesn't want to live by the border so you can slip back and forth? I mean, it's actually wonderful which is why they dick around with the value of our dollars so much to keep people from doing that. But we still do it anyways because who doesn't like America, right? So.
A lot of I've seen a lot of gals on X that don't like America so much.
What?
Especially that orange guy. Yeah.
What do you mean they don't like America?
Orange man bad.
Oh yeah, white women from whether it's Europe or Canada or the United States.
They hate Western civilization.
They hate America.
Yeah.
Well, then why do we all go to Florida and Texas to vacation and Arizona? But lots of them do go there.
Because you're Lord High hypocrites. That's why.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly probably right. Yeah, that's the liberal mindset right there. The beehive mind, the hive mind. Yeah,
right. But just like let me. I wanted to say this earlier, but you were on a bender. It was great. That was fantastic. Good passion from the Canuck. But the way I see Carney's announcement with Xi, it was all about Trump. I mean, it was just a finger in Trump's eye, and it doesn't mean nothing except that Carney's an idiot. And he's just basically trying to virtue signal for the Europeans to show the guys who are all worried about the Greenland thing that he's going to confront the Orange Man too. Well, I mean, it's one-upsmanship. It's so obvious.
And that's all it is. And that's all I was saying, Edward, from like a Blue Origin almost made it to space capsule view of looking down at it. I see the Canadian government as obviously supporting the European Union and looking to China, which I pointed out doesn't have any power left, as a partner to just screw Trump, because not the Canadian people, but the Canadian government tied to the European Union and your favorite thing, the WEF.
Oh God,
they're all anti-Trump. I've been trying to explain this for probably about a month. This isn't about China. This isn't about Russia.
It's about EU.
Yes, they're included. It's about the British Empire.
Always has been about the British Empire, and that's why. And yes, being Canadian, I cannot stand the royal family, the British Empire, anything about it. They're so dirty and slimy. What they've been doing in the world, and I'm going back a long time now, even to current day to day. We got to get rid of their stupid policies. A monarch.
You won't have to, because they're King Charles III will likely be the last king of England.
No, I hope you're right, because
I don't think you really hope that when you know what's coming.
It's bad. It's super bad for European Union members. Super bad.
I still think that King William will get on the throne, because I don't think Charles is going to live that long.
Oh God,
King William will be the one who faces the choice: either submit to Islam or lose your head.
I always say the creakiest gates hang the longest. That son of a gun's going to outlive every one of us here, that king. So no, he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, if that's true,
he's a weakling.
Hold on, no. If that's true, and say he lives as long as Noah, like 900 years,
right?
He won't be king. He will be a banished prisoner within 4 or 5 years.
How do you figure that?
Put him on Elba. They'll probably put him on Elba, looking at a monument.
Hold on. How do I come by that?
Yeah.
How do I come by that? Hold on. Islam. They invited Islam in, and then they started censoring their own people.
Yep.
We can talk about Canada's government censorship. It's not nearly as bad as it is in England.
I know.
And they're arresting grandpas for preaching the Bible because it's offensive to who? Muslims.
Of course it is.
So that's where I come with that's where I come with that King Charles will officially be the last king. And that's not the way I wanted to see England go out. It's not.
If I promise to give it to you straight, Edward, I'll put it in street language, but you can't interrupt me for the next 90 seconds, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Once the great migration from the Islamic world was coming to the UK and they opened the gates, this is Tony Blair, this is Gordon Brown.
Yep.
Okay? You started to hear the word Rotherham. Okay?
The word
now, Rotherham, does that mean anything to you?
Say that word again.
Rotherham.
Rotherham,
England. It's a city in a province in England where you got a high concentration of Islamists migrating that were invited in by the regime. And they hold on. They did what Muslim groups of men do. They preyed upon young women, vulnerable women, young white women of single mothers, latchkey kids, and all that sort of thing, and set up what's now known as grooming gangs.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that.
Okay, but Rotherham is where it started, and there were gang rapes. There was all sorts of debauchery involved with the Islamic penetration of that area. And what did the authorities do? They turned their heads. They didn't look. The police didn't arrest them. They let it go on. When people started to complain, they got arrested. And it got to the point where now we are with Tommy Robinson, where anytime he opens his mouth or films something, he goes to jail. And the sons of bitches get away with it, and here's another boatload of them. My point is that the UK, beginning in Rotherham, lost their will to continue as a serious nation, because any men in a culture that will permit that to happen to their women isn't worthy of the title nation.
Do you think? Let me ask both of you, because all of what you said is true, and we could, if you really want to know, we could go into much greater detail. But do you think that this is a play from Marxism that turned all of the feminist women against the men, and the men said, "I'm out. Deal with your problems. Deal with your problems, feminist women."
That's really an interesting perspective, Sean, because I got to tell you that for that sort of thing to happen in a culture, there's probably a high rate of divorce and a high rate of guys losing their lifetime earnings to those same single women that we're talking about. And now you got these vulnerable girls, and some of their moms were probably partiers or whatever the hell it is. They weren't even keeping an eye on them. And so the young women were vulnerable. And when you start reaching out to the guys and tell them, "Hey, look, blah, 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 blah," they go, you told me to get out of your life, bitch. I mean, I can totally see that dynamic. I don't agree with it. I mean, I obviously lost my own daughter probably to fentanyl, but the idea that would be done to her, and I mean, I have no idea what happened to her right before she died. It haunts me. Okay. But at the same time, it is part of the civilizational rot. And right now, I hope there's a Nick Sortor up in Dearbornistan who can take his YouTube and uncover if that's going on up there, where you've got these high concentrations of Muslims. I want to know about it, because I'll go up there.
But, all right, no, but I think you're hearing me, but what I'm getting to is that the Western world, America, still doing it too, but doing it less, has been so feminized through Marxism, let's call it what it is, that they have just so think of how many generations this is, from the 1950s to 2026.
And you realize,
you, especially white men, you were terrible, awful human beings. Sit down. And then when they go, these women go, "Hey, wait, I'm getting hurt. And the white men go, oh, really?
This is one thing I want to interject right now, because you go back to the 1950s, let's go back to where we changed the laws in marriage. And if the wife wants to leave, instead of us looking like, okay, what did we do wrong? No, get the frig out then. Go ahead, get lost. I don't care. And then, we could be clean slated. Yeah, if you want to get out and go, just get out and go. I don't care. But the laws, they wrote them in purposefully so that, they're taking us down at the knees even, so that they leave us immobilized with these huge payments we get to pay. No, if they want equality, get your own freaking job done. You're so damn good at everything.
You make a solid point.
So change the damn laws, but the libtards won't let us. Oh no. So if you change them laws back to the way they were before, yeah, it's every man for himself, including those women that want that. So yeah, let them be feminists. Just get out of my life and do it. How about that? I won't be the bad guy then. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Well, no. Yeah, so that's happened to our generations. All of the younger generations saw that and go, fuck it. I'm not getting.
I know, right? It's so
true. And Mark Mitchell is chronicling now how Gen Z isn't even interested in dating. Well, why would they be? I mean, here's a study in how you can lose your life savings twice, right, Sean? Yeah. And it gets taken away. And then, oh, wait a minute, don't you need to protect us? Oh,
oh, now you want me to protect you.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I get that. But at the same time, the government path, and I'm going to go back to that, the government path of least resistance is to ignore the pleas of the victims and turn around and shush the truth tellers, which is why a guy like Nick Shirley is so important, because a YouTuber with now 50 million views can get the word out on anything, even when the richest man in the world in a government bureau can't make a dent.
I think CNN had to talk about YouTuber Nick Shirley for about 3 days now, in all of the.
So he's still going. He's got a fresh kill.
So for everybody that is maybe new to the podcast, I need to be very clear. I've been talking about 1 year on the podcast, 2 years before that on just X Spaces, what TV people are. And you really I need everybody to understand this. So I'm going to repeat it from time to time. TV people are the people that watch, they have the box on the wall.
I love the term.
And they have the box on the wall, and it's always tuned into something, whether it be CBS or NBC. More likely, they are.
Call it a telescreen.
They are, yes, more likely they might be news junkies, not political junkies. They might be news junkies. So they probably have Fox News or CNN or M Snow, and it's on 24/7 in the background. Now, while that's on, they probably are also Facebook users, depending on their age.
Oh, yeah.
Most likely Facebook users too. So they're doom scrolling Facebook, and they're watching CNN or M Snow or even Fox News and doom scrolling, and they are Pavlov's dogs. They're being programmed.
That doesn't ring a bell to me. What does that mean?
Good one. Good one, Edward. Bazinga.
What you're saying is very true.
You want a Pavlovian response, Edward? Yeah. About the hottest chick in the group chat. All right, anyway.
Oh my God! I'll talk about that sometime. That'd be so fun.
I could bring it up. I already closed all of our windows. I could bring the window back up. There's this great video of this raging older white liberal woman that comes down to a beachfront. She sounds like a bird. She's saying,
wow.
"Get off!"
Is that in BC?
Oh, it's hilarious. I might have shared with you guys. And the guys are laughing at her as she's down there. And she's like, "This is public property. You need to get out of here." And they're like, "Yeah, exactly. It's public property." And then she starts throwing rocks at duck decoys. And they turn around and they finally say, "Those are decoys, retard." And so she walks away just going, "Fuck off." Fuck off.
This is the liberal mindset, though. That's the liberal mindset to a T. No information, beacon off without any knowledge beforehand.
I guarantee you that chick has a master's degree, which makes her super smart.
Probably a doctor of psychology, no doubt about it. Gotta tell you. Yeah, you can show it again. I've seen it, before, and I think, oh my God, how cringy is this?
I'd have to go find it. It's a great video.
Yeah, but this is what we're up against today.
It perfectly shows what college-educated white women
oh my God into. I know. And you know what? It's even deeper than that, besides just college.
Sean talks about the TV people. Well, the TV people are horrified at Amy Coney Barrett's drift towards liberalism. Okay. It doesn't seem like it's not nearly as dire as it seemed like it was going to be last year. True?
Amy Coney?
No.
Yeah, I mean, Trump's been on a roll in the Supreme Court, and Barrett has provided some, dissonance, but it hasn't been overwhelming. It's been useless noise, and occasionally she frustrates him, but overall she hasn't affected the direction. So she's not necessarily the safest sixth vote in history. She's not nearly as solid as Kavanaugh, not even close to as solid as Gorsuch.
Right.
But overall, not a disastrous pick. Not a great pick, but not a disastrous pick. I would say stay away from nominating college-educated white women, period, for jobs like that. Because you don't understand the forces that have them drift leftward.
Well, don't you think by when I'm talking about this concept of the TV people and the college-educated liberal women, that would be worse than Ketanji Jackson Brown nominated to the SCOTUS, Supreme Court?
Because you're wasting a pick that could do some real good. You're a Republican is never going to nominate a Ketanji Brown Jackson because they're not going to reach for a Kamala Harris, or it's not just going to be a pure play DEI pick. It's going to be some mushy, middling thing that it should work out, but of course then it doesn't. And what you absolutely should do is find the whitest refugee asylum seeker from an ex-communist nation that's got a law degree and stick her in there so she can look like a white woman who's giving you the Clarence Thomas treatment for these opinions. And if she's lived under communism, she won't fall victim to Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor's overtures.
Can you believe that? Is it the one from Hawaii? Sonia Sotomayor.
I have no idea where
that's what Ding Dong Dum Dum.
I don't know.
Well,
maybe. Let's just say the promise of a wise Latina has not borne fruit.
All right, but yeah, what a dum dum! Oh my God, can't believe her.
Well, I've only got two people here I can get a vote from, and take no offense from this, Edward. 19th Amendment. Hold on, 19th Amendment. Pro or against?
I'm against it. The same as the women were back in those days.
Why? I need to know why, though. So you're going to have to explain why.
They have nothing to lose. They're not in the game. It's like telling somebody to gamble, $1 million on a hand of poker when they're not. It's not their money. They have nothing to lose.
I think people who aren't paying the taxes shouldn't be there.
Correct.
Okay, but we've forced women into the workforce, so they're paying taxes now.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to make it employed women only, I'd be okay with that. It's just not welfare queens.
Most women do not want to be in the workforce.
I don't think that you should have people on public assistance voting. but you can't get away with that. So I'd go for the full ban.
Well, all right. 19th Amendment, to be clear, was
You could get away with that.
suffrage, the right to vote. It also gave.
Why should you be able to vote yourself a paycheck out of somebody else's?
It also
I know.
reaffirmed
That's what I say.
Black people being able to vote. It was a reaffirmation of that in the 19th Amendment. I don't have a problem with male American Black people voting.
How does that get into the conversation?
I think when the 19th Amendment was wrote up, the wives were bitching so hardcore. Feminism. Remember feminism? We talked about. Wait, what is feminism? It's Marxism. It is Marxism.
True.
And they were nagging their husbands so bad. They're like, all right, honey, let's do this suffrage act. And then you know what? Hold on. And then you know what? To make it so that all the people will vote for it, will include the Black people who already. The men had a right to vote after the 14th and 15th Amendment. They did. It took two amendments. I would love to get into when people say the proclamation freed the slaves. No. It's the 14th and 15th Amendment that freed the slaves. But for another story, boys.
And there's only representation.
What? There was no men included in the women included in the 14th and 15th Amendment. And everyone knows why, because we all know our wife was crazy. They're fucking crazy. And we laugh and we say, well,
still are.
This has been proven through the Bible. This has been proven through every history text. There are no glass ceilings to break. Women are emotional, men are rational.
But we already know all that.
We clearly didn't, because we as a country amended the Constitution to let emotion vote.
That was a Democrat.
If you want to
argue, it wasn't a Democrat thing.
You don't think it was?
If you want to argue, no, the liberal Republicans were just as bad. Look, if you want to argue about why the West maybe lost, it's because the Islamists have a better handle on how they deal with their females than we do. That is a really hard truth.
Well,
okay, Edward, I'm sorry, but I just said better than we do. I don't endorse what they do. But I think
what the founders played out was different than the Islamist version of this as a government, is that the head of household votes. Who's the head of the household? Whoever lives in the house. If there's a wife there, if they're Mormon, there's 17 wives there.
Single mom, you let her vote, right? Yeah. She's the head of the household.
Got to be that way.
Also, that was the intended purpose pre-19th Amendment.
Listen, I know I opened up a can of worms. I'm just affirming what Edward's thesis is almost on every single podcast. Not that it's bad, but that these people are irrational, and the fact is, I would say that covering them up in whatever to keep them from getting into trouble makes more sense than what we're doing right now. And that's only because what we're doing right now is that's only because what we're in trouble. Because what we're doing right now is so counterproductive and crazy and deleterious to our future. That's all. I think we're completely off base. And Edward, look, we talk about church. We'll be doing church on Sunday.
Yes.
Man, I uncorked this radical JD in the Midwest. No. I mean, the fact is, what happened to organized religion?
Well, that's a whole How they got here?
No. The faith leaders got intoxicated with the civil rights movement, and then going forward, they just wanted to keep people from bitching.
I know.
And it's coffee and donuts, and we're gonna water down the gospel, and it might make the girls mad if we get all we tell hard truths.
I know.
And,
I didn't say.
Listen, we did this to ourselves, okay? And I realized guys who made a lot of money fooled around and went for the second wife, and the 35-year-old sex goddess could rule the office. I know all about that. And the guys didn't maintain the morality, so we have our role in it, but we're in the middle of it.
We're going to talk about it again on Sunday when we wrestle Esther again and sort that. This is 5,000 years. 5,000 years of human behavior.
I got one more thing.
She's had 12 months of beauty treatment, so she's worth a second week.
She's worth a second look for sure. Hey, I gotta say, on one you were just saying there, and I forgot what I was going to say. What I was going to add in there. Oh my god!
No, I was talking about coffee, donuts, building fun, girls bitching, and no truth in sermons. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, let's just boil it down. The question is, should women vote? And not everything. People might actually respond to this. Should women vote? Because in America, we did not believe. We only believed in head of household.
Well, did we say that could not? Did we say that could not be a female?
We didn't say it couldn't be head of household is what it was, and you could make that argument in 1940, 1920, whatever the head of household was. But it was also the culture was a little different.
Yeah,
so those people hid in the same way. In the same way that transvestites hid. And they had their own bar, and they hung out, they had a good time, and you might even go to that bar just to watch them put on a performance of Rent or something, trying to make it at least relevant for the people my age. Lots of good fun. But
JC made a good point.
Should this is an honest question. Should the head of household be the only vote? Or
Edward, if I made a good point, I want to hear it. What was it?
No, Sean, you know what? You were right when you're saying the head of the household is the one that's the leader of the house. And who's the leader or the head of the house? That's the same guy that is leading in church. The leader of that family is the male.
Right.
But JC, you made a good point.
You become a deacon. Yeah, you become a deacon. That's exactly
right. And women are not allowed to. Well, I'm going to get back into 1 Timothy, but let's leave that for Sunday as far as not allowing women priests, ministers, preachers, blah, 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 and why that was forbidden and you cannot do that. But some church saying, well, forget about what he said. It doesn't really matter. We can have women preachers. God was wrong. Yeah. But I got to say one thing. The women wanted that emotional element value to service, and they weren't getting it. And because there is not an emotional, you're not supposed to be getting all emotional in church. You're supposed to be more rational, worshipy, and not just all falling all apart and crying and this is so wonderful. No, that's not what it's all about. But go ahead, Sean. I see your hand.
Okay, so the way it is supposed to work, I've heard this story that the man, the head of the household, let's just pretend everybody's straight, and we have male-female relationships. Right. The way it's supposed to work is the man is the head of the household, the woman is the neck, helping direct the man to the right choice. She still doesn't make the decision; she influences the decision.
Right. Of course, they're supposed to be talking back and forth. That's only normal in a marriage.
No, listen to what I said. That's important. Head of household.
Yeah.
I give directions. I give advice. Here's how I feel, and the man can still go, yeah, we're going this way.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. Yeah.
Only if he's got balls. Yeah.
No, only if there's not a government backing her up. That's different.
Well, okay, Edward, and that's the other point is that when his authority is compromised by the government subsidizing him out of existence,
correct.
Then you have the black fatherless crisis.
Then you have the what?
The fatherless crisis in African American homes.
Right. Yeah.
It's not just African American homes anymore. They have exploited that to
everywhere.
All homes.
And do you think the government or the representatives really care about that? No, they don't. Otherwise, they wouldn't worship it so much, you know. But yeah, that's a whole other.
Edward,
on that.
Okay, let me put it bluntly. These sons of bitches will sign off on an omnibus spending bill that spends $7 trillion a year and look you straight in the eye in the camera and say they can't cut a dime. So no, they don't give two fucks what happens to anybody that they send that money
you guys, I'm gonna give a hot tip to the true libertarians out there. Do you see why all of them say, well, we shouldn't have any government at all? Because
I agree.
There's a lot of argument we could have there because we've done no government at all. There's always going to be a power vacuum. It will create a different type of anarchist power. But you can absolutely understand why people in America or even Canada, the West, would look at a libertarian candidate to go, you mean no government? No government? Oh, you mean no government at all? And they're like, yeah, that's what I want. And they're like, vote for me. Here's the only problem with libertarians. When they get in, they are Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, who vote for trillions of dollars in fraud with every spending bill.
It's so true.
Now, what they do is when a Republican is in office, they go on about how they're a deficit hawk and they don't like all this spending. But they favor open borders, and we've now just had almost a 10-year experiment where we see what government is like with medium immigration enforcement, no immigration enforcement, and now maximum government enforcement. And I still think of Tucker Carlson's show where he had that picture of Biden that just standing there with the sunglasses on going, because that's what it was. Just open it up. And people say, oh, it's hyperbole about they're emptying their jails. You did. They emptied their mental institutions. I mean, crime in Venezuela, a shithole, was down 66, 70% because all the criminals are here. And your libtard women are up there interfering with the agents trying to get those sons of bitches out of our country.
You know what? I don't get that liberal sickness that says we don't need borders. That retarded.
Hold on. I'm going to call you out. And we're friends, but you do get it because you think chicks are hot. We're going to go back to the Bible and talk about chicks are hot.
Yeah.
No, hold on. It changes the perception. I'm not saying women are the device from the devil, but it's a tool. It's a tool to get you to vote or do the apple. You've talked about this. To compromise yourself and not stand up for your own morals and tell that woman, no, we're not doing this liberal or whatever it is in life over the last 5 or 6 dozen years. I would love to hear your argument, but it's the sin of man because we think chicks are hot.
Yeah, but let's not be simps, though. We're not simps, people.
Before you explain,
are we not?
I want to put it in everyday language. What Sean is saying.
All right.
Are you keeping? Okay. There's conflict in your home, or there's conflict in your relationship. Do you want to keep the peace, PEACE, or do you want to keep the PIECE? That's where we compromise our integrity.
It's not just that, or hold on, or is it? And it happens both with men and women. But to be very direct, it happens with men because
other
women do this to men. They present the opportunity. Oh, I hear you're really having a rough time in your marriage.
Yeah,
Want to talk?
Want to talk? Or how about this one? Hey, your daughter's suicidal. I think I can help you reach her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And I happen to be the 8.9 on the 10 scale. Meet X number 2. All right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I can see that happening on both sides, though. I'm not condoning that or accepting it.
Brother, I'm living proof that it happened. I can tell you, I'm living with the consequences now. So,
I will tell you, God created it, and it's in the book. Yeah, you've always told us it started. We agree with you. It started with Adam.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because he sided with her and tried to protect her against, the
I'm not just saying.
Yes, but I'm not saying it's right though, and that's a mistake he made that we have to live with, and we have to
correct her to defy God. Yes.
What's that? We
enabled her to defy God Almighty. That's what he did.
We should have stuck by our gun back then. We should have said, "No, I'm going to wait for our father to come. You deal with him alone."
Not acting as the head of household.
Exactly.
I know.
God laid it out in Genesis. He explained it all the way through the Bible. He said, "Men, this is your fault, not mine."
I know. And, we live with that pain every single damn day. So, yeah, I think we're all aware.
Wait, hold on. Does that because there's a big difference here between Christian men who would rule over their household versus Muslim men who would rule over the household. And no, we need to look into that at some point in time and explain the big difference between a Christian man ruling over his Christian house and a Muslim man who fucks who beats his women. Shit! Sorry, YouTube. Can you erase whatever I just said?
Yeah, but what I was saying to you, Sean, is that the enabler, the weak, nominally Christian man who allows the woman to steamroll his family and then divorce him when she gets bored with him and take his earnings and move on in hypergamy to the next guy.
I love that
who's got a better deal if she's hot enough, right?
Then repeat.
Meet the next guy. Yeah, anyway, the Islamists have a better handle on it than the stupid ass who laid down and let that happen to him. That's what I'm saying. I know I confuse you a little bit with that.
Nope, I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
I'd have been better off as a Muslim. Anyway.
Yeah, but we can't be brute beast either. The brutality of the Muslim faith is way overboard, and I think that we have to just read.
I'm the one who told you about Rotherham. I mean, they're disgusting.
Hold on. I got a great idea, fellas. Once we finish the book of Esther, which it might take 2 weeks, let's look. I don't hold on. When we do those Sunday shows, let's just look into how masculine men of the Bible were able to hold governments together and be loved by women, and do a series on that, as opposed to what you see of Western men now who are terrified of women.
Okay, and I'll do a special section on the doofus dads on TV sitcoms.
Yeah, that's so common. That's passe anymore. That's
Send me some clips.
That's where
Well,
effort.
send me some clips, like short clips that we could play on that, because it's absolutely true and it's funny. And that won't get us being on YouTube. I had to delete our last episode that we played a clip from NBC on YouTube, because NBC said, "Take this down, or
Oh.
we're going to copyright violation you, asshole."
I was wondering how you were getting that, played to begin with. Anyways, I think
We played it everywhere else, but YouTube said, "Fuck you." Nope.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I guess
given that we get zero followers there,
yeah, great, like hour and a half long conversation, and NBC's like, "No, you can't play our funny stuff."
I know.
And then talk about it.
I know. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? It is what it is, and we just want to.
Seb Gorka, and I will quote, says that YouTube has the highest percentage of fascistic censors in their workforce of any company in the United States.
Is that true?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And so, listen, fellas, I can send you the email. I have your.
I believe you. I mean, it's. I'm surprised.
All I did was, when I got the email in the morning, I just went to YouTube and I said, "Delete episodes." So everybody who watches this on YouTube or will watch this later on YouTube, you know that our episodes, sometimes I have to delete them. Watch them on X or watch them on Rumble. Rumble is probably the best TV app to watch shows like this.
X isn't bad either. It's got a lot.
X isn't bad, but X doesn't have a TV app.
Oh,
Rumble
right.
does.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. I was gonna.
Anyway, before everyone wants to disappear, we got to get into this. Hold on, Edward. Should women have the right to vote?
Well, when I went through that, I said no, they should not.
Why?
Well, because I said they have nothing to lose, especially
biblically. Why?
Again, they're not the head of the house, but there's so much more to it than just that. And the reason is just because. And I don't want to get into the whole Genesis thing, because once you get into the Genesis,
you have to mansplain, which is a term.
All right,
negative.
I'll do it briefly then. We, as far as men, were not made in the garden. We were put in the garden after we were already made. Eve was made in the garden from us. And so we were born in the brotherhood outside this whole mess we're in today. When we got with Eve, of course. And
so what you're saying is that the seed of our destruction was always inside of us.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt that either. But yeah. Yeah. But anyways,
was it? No. JC makes a good point. Was it? Can you resist, men? Can you resist this thing I'm going to put in front of you?
That's
I didn't do a good job of that personally, but I'm sure somebody can.
Well,
yeah, well, lots of us could say the same thing. You feel like you're the only guy that's ever. Oh my God! No, you're not alone, brother. I'm telling you, you're not alone there.
Edward, at this point in my life, there's no reason not to just put it out there. Who cares? It isn't like I'm a captain of industry or anybody's gonna be affected by me. Although I will tell you, I've got a lot of experience and I know a lot of shit, and I can keep you out of a lot of trouble.
The ones I've been through it, are going to be the best teachers because they know. Absolutely right. They know.
If only the youngsters would just listen. The Utes.
Well, the Utes. Oh my God, that's out of a movie somewhere. The Utes.
Would you have listened?
No,
I didn't listen.
Too young thinking that.
Hold on. There was some things I did listen to and take to heart, but for the most part, I was like, I got to go break this wall with my face and see what that feels like.
Yeah.
I was trying to listen to old guys, but I tried not to say you don't understand that much, but at the same time, most of the arguments were usually political. It was that I really liked Reagan, and the consensus was liberal, and so you end up fighting about something that ends up meaning nothing.
I think what my experience was.
Okay, let me just circulate.
Yeah, go ahead. Circle it around.
For a minute. All Reagan did was really pause the left-wing advance.
What?
We got 25 million jobs out of it. The direction was left, and he basically stopped it until he gave amnesty to the Mexicans. All right, and then that pretty much jump-started it, like Sean and I have discussed. And then Bush and Clinton, and I'm sorry, Paul, Clinton did it too. But Bush and Obama threw logs on the fire, and Trump got in almost by divine intervention, really, to be honest. Because if you look at
it was the final,
the most amazing thing,
the final blockade.
Remind me that
socialism,
the final firewall. Right.
Remind me that point right there on Sunday, because I got a lot to say about that in 1st and 2nd Kings.
And
as the story goes, no,
I can't. Only reason I can't. And yes, please bring more of that to me. Send it to me, and you know how to communicate with me. It's because I really want to get through the hot chick book of Esther.
Yes.
We have so much to talk about that one too. We didn't.
And guys need to understand there's hot chicks 5,000 years ago.
If we get into this shit, we'll lose Esther in the dust. Okay, I mean, no doubt. But the point is, just one last statement. Trump paused the freight train, and the freight train completely overreacted to him. If they would have just kissed his ass, he'd have gone along with everything that they wanted. Because at that point, he was not ideological. He just wanted to be president. He wanted to think he was the government of all the people. But they freaked out. And what they did was they created the very thing that they were trying to fight against. And he wasn't even that yet when he first showed up. In fact, he started bitching about the Freedom Caucus. That they don't want to get things done. He was with Mitch McConnell. Think about it, Edward. Think about it. He said that. Okay. And I actually remember that. And only after Mueller had been rammed a periscope up his ass for 18 months and spent $50 million. I mean, that was pre-Jack Smith. And then, of course, they exonerated him. And then they started to impeach him immediately because Vindman and the Lieutenant Colonel Donut and those assholes were all on a phone call. And they started talking about Zelensky. And the FBI was sitting on Hunter's laptop the whole fucking time. They knew it was a complete joke, and yet they put the country through that another $50 million investigation.
Oh,
and then we roll in, and they try to impeach him, and they miss again. And now we're all the way into the election, and he wins again, and they steal it, and then they impeach him again.
I know.
Okay, so
John, let me ask you this question. Are you and I so for the last basically 20 years there's been Wikipedia. Are you and I the guys that are going to be the authors of Grokpedia?
I hope so.
To tell the truth in the way it's true, and even in the way when we see Trump does it wrong. To tell the truth, to tell the actual truth of the event that happened, whatever that event is.
He's a human being. He's not always right.
No, of course he's not.
And of course, I never sit there. But I don't know anybody else who could rebalance world trade in 3 months.
Retard on some things, but 80% of the stuff he does, I like.
Because he's got some good fights he got to be president and wanted to be to clean up a lot of the stuff that we've already been talking about. Trade was one of them, tariffs and everything that goes with that. So he talked about
that shit. You've been talking about that shit for 40 years.
I know, and
I mean, that's what the thing that he and Reagan share in common the most is that their political beliefs never changed for 30 years. It just came into focus, and then they got elected. That's the common thread between them.
Except that Reagan was always a Republican, but yeah, I get that.
No, he wasn't. He was a fucking Democrat.
Reagan?
No,
California?
no, and that's where the similarities are. He was a Democrat who ran as Republican. Donald Trump was a Democrat who ran as a Republican. Everyone's going, what? Hold on, time out. Hear me out to all of our listeners. The reason they did this is because they knew they could only win if they ran as a Republican. If Donald Trump had, and he told you this on Oprah in 1984 or 5, I would run as a Republican. He's a Democrat. I would run as a Republican and I would win. That's a direct quote from Donald Trump because he knew the Democrat Party was already at that time in the 1980s going far into socialism.
The way he put it was that they've gone down the road under the banner of Marx, Lenin, and Stalin. Yeah, and then they had.
The latter part of the 80s was brutal as far as socialism goes, and unions.
Not in America. The rest of the world, yes.
Reagan had Thatcher. Reagan had Thatcher and John Paul too. I mean, that was an amazing axis of.
You guys remember that? You aircraft controllers don't get back to work first thing Monday morning. You're all fired. Socialism and public unions were on the rise in all countries, and that's why the miracle of Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, and Brian Mulroney, 3 major countries all having conservatives at the same time, did correct that. So America had the same problems as far as that went too. Public service unions were exploding.
The point is that okay. Let's stay with me for a minute.
Right.
That was a pause in the leftward advance.
Yes. Well, yeah, okay. Still,
what's going on now is long overdue reversal.
Yep. But the media
okay.
can tell you that,
and we don't know how it's going to settle out. It depends on who wins it.
Right. And I'm thinking
our party's not helping.
No, and we got to get rid of that guy and get somebody else. Well, that's why I was so surprised that Trump picked him and sided with him. I mean, both of them. This guy, Carney, was supposed to be the guy, the elbows up guy, was supposed to be strong enough against Trump. I'm thinking, oh, you got to be kidding me. I don't get it. I don't understand. He must know something we don't that's coming down the pipe. I don't get it, but there must be a reason why.
No, it's more simple than that. Well, okay, Canada, you don't want to play ball? That's fine. We already protect you. And he's repeated this over and over and over. You're already protected by us militarily. We don't really care. Throw your little protest.
But
that's what he said. And I get it. Like, you guys are like, well, why didn't he come help us? Well, then you go, why didn't he come help the Iranians? Why didn't he regime change Venezuela? Trump looks at the world in a much, much different way than any other president we've had. And it's not, we're here to help you.
I know that. We've had that conversation.
What do you have to share with us?
Yeah.
Because we're done.
He wasn't empowered.
We have talked about this post World War II. The entire planet has taken advantage of American taxpayers.
Not Canada. That's not true.
Hold on. They've taken advantage of, for whatever reason, they've taken advantage of American taxpayers. And then one of the things that JC and I have talked about, Paul and JC and I have talked about, is that we'll have some rogue European nation go start a war. And then they find out they can't win the war. And they go, oh, shit. Holy shit, America, please come help us in fucking Iraq. Or in Afghanistan.
Kosovo. Anywhere.
Right. South Sudan.
Right.
Okay, so your point was what I was going to say. We understand all that, but we weren't asking Trump to help us because Trump wasn't even in power then. We had Biden and those libtards stepping over our border, helping out the other libtards, Trudeau, crush us. We didn't need the Americans' help that way. We wanted the other help to, block off the borders like we'd already planned and everything. That's what we're waiting for. Not a handout from Trump, who wasn't even in power then. We had it under control already. We already were doing the thing. It was Biden that interfered with us.
I don't think you actually have any control over your borders. And again, I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking your government.
You're right. We don't.
You have no control over it.
Correct.
All of the trafficking, whether it be drugs or humans, comes through Canada. And there has been calls on social media to build a wall against Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Not the people, the government, because they sent it in. And Trump just simply said, here was Trump's ask. Will you send your Canadian Mounted Police or whatever you have to the border and your border protection agency? Will you stop the importation of drugs and humans? And the Canadian government, not you, not the Canadian people, the Canadian government said, no, fuck you. We're going to send more.
That's the libtards for you. And
let me just say,
quit calling East Indians, who aren't even Canadians, that haven't even been here a year, that got caught with drugs across the border. Quit calling them Canadians, because they're not. And I don't know why these libtard media people in the
nobody's calling them Canadians. We're accusing the Canadian government of being part of the trafficking problem.
Correct, but it's still not Canadian.
And being more loyal to the World Economic Forum in China than they are to their neighbor to the south, and they proved it again today.
Correct.
The political class in Canada is traitorous.
Yep, I know.
Sorry, that's the truth.
It is.
Now, I was glad to hear that Paul says that the military is not all in on that shit. That honestly made me feel better, because I was wondering how far the rod had gotten up there. And Edward, before you get defensive about Canada, and I understand a patriot loves his country, so it
has nothing to do with that.
I've been hearing you all night, and I get it.
Yeah.
All right, so I feel bad that you feel like we're attacking.
Because I'm not feeling that way. I'm just trying to get
No. But stay with me.
Right.
The point is that when push comes to shove, your military's got to be with you, or else you're screwed. And we saw Mark Milley and the furry culture and all that bullshit. Lloyd Austin was out of pocket for 7 days. Nobody knew where he was. He was in the hospital. The son of a bitch was the Secretary of Defense of the United States. There was no one on the deck. There was no one in control.
Yep.
Pete Hegseth, in the most miraculous congressional appointment of this administration, has completely turned around the military culture of the United States in 12 months. And it makes me feel better to hear that the Canadian military is okay. Because I have a feeling it'll be very helpful to have you guys with us, at least there. But I still don't want to leak any plans to your politicians.
I wouldn't either. I don't trust them.
All right? I mean, they'll call up Xi Jinping and give him a heads up, just like that fat-ass Milley.
I know what, I'm with you 100%. I agree with that. But our army's not, our military's not all that. We still got this woman at the head of the whole thing. But it's not a retard.
But Edward, that's not the point. If they're subversive, if they're leftist, if they're the enemy, then any amount of intermingling that we have with them on a military installation could be dangerous.
Correct.
Because they'll leak word to the enemy.
Yep.
The reason the thing in Venezuela went off so well is because Hegseth learned the lesson of the signal gate. They set his ass up. and they've tried to fry him ever since he showed up, and he's smarter than they are.
True story.
He's smarter than they are. And that Venezuela thing went down without heat. It was already over before anybody knew anything was going on.
Hey, speaking of which, I got to throw this out there before we close out. What about Cuba now? Cuba's kind of stuck now in the middle of nowhere land, really. No oil coming in. What?
It's just a matter of time. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah, we don't have to. All right. No. And that gets to the greater thing. We don't have to do anything. We don't.
They are starving to death.
And well, there's some that are starving. We
starving for a while.
This is a totally different playbook under Trump. And this is kind of the setup I've been trying to get at. You don't have to do anything in Iran. Right. And here's why it's important. I want to be very clear about this.
You're going to disappoint Tel Aviv Levin.
Oh, I'm aware. Hey, by the way, Tel Aviv Levin, my email is sean.strom@gmail.com. We can talk.
Let's have him on.
Well, I'll even go on your show and say this. Here's the.
He is Jewish, right?
I don't care what your
I would say it's a Pope Catholic, but nobody knows anymore. So yeah, go ahead.
What you're looking at it in Iran, bomb Iran, bomb Iran, bomb. Stop. Just be.
Bomb Iran.
What you're seeing out of Trump, whether it's Venezuela or Iran, is we want to see the people of that country rise up and be able to take the power. Now, we may do some things to help them, like steal their leader, but still allow the regime to stay in power so that there is no power vacuum. We're giving you a chance, Venezuela, as a people. Are you going to rise up and fix this?
Yeah, Venezuela can do that.
Hold on. And it gets worse. Iran. The Ayatollahs, the mullahs, they all watched what happened. Trump has super mean written tweets on Truth Social. And think it out. Just think it out. And the Ayatollah and the mullahs all have to be going, man, do we go to where do we go? Do we go to Ukraine? I mean, where can we still pull off everything that we've been doing? And we know it can't be Ukraine because Trump's already onto it there.
Already onto it, right?
I don't know where to go. And they go, all right. We're going to just post mean tweets back at Trump, knowing they can do nothing. Nothing. There is nobody on the planet that can oppose Donald Trump. And you go, why? Hold on. Everyone's going to freak out.
You do realize
a dictator. No.
You do realize that he's already killed.
He is the ultimate peace through power and strength.
You do realize that Iran their leadership has already killed 12,000 people. 12,000. What would you say? Besides
wait. No. Yeah, that's great.
Opposition.
You brought that up. That's a great point. So does everyone want America to just come in and blow up the rest of the world? Just
I didn't
blow
say
up
that.
Iran?
But the CIA does have its fingerprints all over what happened with the Ayatollah to begin with in 1979, with that stupid plane being parked on the tarmac back then. Remember that, JC? Do you remember that happening?
Yeah, we get it. But that stopped with DJT 2.0. All of that is stopping.
Well, let's hope that that's been stopping. But
and it will be temporary. And we hope we can get through election cycles, and whether it's Rubio or whether it's JD Vance.
I'm just saying. A little hope.
Let me ask you a question. Is Donald Trump just running continuous bombing campaigns?
No, I didn't say that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Is he trying to get them into deals where he can build Trump hotels in Iran?
I don't think he's interested. I'm even worried about that.
He totally wants to.
He has a lot. He's had a lot of success in that neck of the woods.
But his primary concern,
Edward, when he visits the Middle East, it's like Donald of Arabia. I've never seen an American president received like that.
No, me either. But I got to say, the Islamic regime that's controlling it right now is his primary concern.
Even King Charles, who's trying to be an Islamist, they don't give a shit about him.
I know.
Like Trump.
Can you changing? Huh? What's that?
Edward, what if Donald? So, if you look at Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's like, hey, he's talking to Iran and he's talking to Jordan, the countries. Iran says Jordan called my mother fat, and then Iran's like, they called my aunt a slut, and Donald Trump's like, hey, okay, I heard y'all. You were in the White House or you were in Mar-a-Lago. I listened to you. Do you guys want to get rich?
You guys want to make some money?
But. And he says, no, hold on. Do you guys want to make some money?
I agree with you.
You know, we're like, so what he's doing on the world stage is, in the Middle East specifically, is saying, listen, you guys can all hate each other all you want, but you got to also get rich together.
Yeah.
At the same time, and still hate each other.
And you can still call everybody's mama fat.
Yep, I agree.
One last thing, Edward, before I go. That little girl that said she's going to subscribe on YouTube, she's nowhere to be seen. So I want to point that out to you.
That's because she's out this weekend.
All right, I was going to say, if you were missing that, I just wanted to be your eye in the sky. Remember, this is over the horizon surveillance, so I just wanted to point out that 0 on YouTube up there for you.
She's a good girl. She's a great girl. But yeah,
okay.
I already knew that ahead of time.
Okay. Well, you should have told us that I wouldn't be making a fool out of myself. So thank you.
I don't usually come on Fridays either. So
okay.
Another different thing.
On Sunday, though, right? Coming on Sunday.
What's that?
Hobie comes on Sunday. He's our church guy.
Yeah.
Are you coming on Sunday?
Am I going to see a subscriber on YouTube on Sunday?
Book of Esther, chapter 5 is where we will start.
Okay.
We'll try to bring people on. I hope you can make it, Edward, because you're kind of important to that conversation.
Yeah, you got to be there.
And we're totally not doing Monday because we're all going to be watching the national championship.
Of course we are. It's Indiana. All Indianans will be tuned in.
Oh my gosh! Yes, we'll all be there.
But I do have one more. I do have one more thing for both of you. John Rich promoted a song tonight from a different artist named Steele. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
Sean's nodding his head yes.
Good.
It is now my pinned tweet.
That's good.
You should absolutely go and listen to it. It is phenomenal.
I'm going to now. Yeah.
All right.
Positively. All right,
anybody out there who's made it this long should do the same thing.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you really like this podcast, which I would think
hit the like. Give it a like.
A lot of people like this podcast, give it a repost. Let's close it out.
Good for you.
You're the love.
You know what? If all time,